solar photovoltaic module. For decades, this simple piece of glass, melted down from the sands of the ocean, has propelled mankind into space, ushered in the age of global telecommunications, and introduced a clean, inexhaustible source of renewable energy. But how did this amazing technology get its start? Who was responsible for making solar photovoltaics into the thriving industry it is today? Was it the world's greatest physicist? Was it the Nazis? Could it have been the astronauts? Maybe it was the oil companies. Or was it the hippies?
This was my first time that I ever solar charged anything. I would take the weak batteries out of the tape deck, set them on the windowsill so the sun would warm them up. And when they got warm, the chemical activity increased, and they would play another 2 or 3 songs.
These are the Arco 16 2000s. They've been here since 1980, and they're still working. So that's 80, that's about 36 years ago they were put up.
Yeah, those are some pretty old modules, David. But did you know that Charles Fritz installed the first solar PV system in Manhattan, New York way back in 1884?
This was the device that Adams and Day used to discover the photoelectric, or what we call photovoltaic effect today.
It's one of the most perfect flights ever seen at the Missile Center.
This is an opportunity to put solar cells into space and operate these satellites for a longer period of time.
First use of terrestrial solar cells were used for lights and horns on oil rigs in the Gulf of Mexico.
Then the hippies showed up, and we were not a very popular group.
Well, rural land was a whole lot cheaper than living in town. And not only that, rural land was a whole lot cheaper if it didn't come with electricity. But we went for 7 years out here with no electricity at all.
We used kerosene lamps.
I mean, it was probably terrible to be breathing the fumes. It was part of being a pioneer,
We got our first photovoltaic module, and Karen and I saved up for over a year to get it. And after a few weeks, I was hooked. And it was like, put these other projects on hold. What we need to do is buy some more photovoltaics and put them up.
I decided that I wanted to buy a piece of land and build a house with alternative building techniques and recycled materials, and learn how to do organic gardening and farming, and learn how to produce my own energy and my own water, and figuring out ways to make it so that it was doable for the broad scale of the society.
I met a guy named Sam, walked into the store one day with a little black piece of glass, and he said, "Hey, you should sell these in your store." And I said, "Well, why? What is it?" He said, "Well, it's a solar electric panel."
So suddenly in our market, we're starting to see solar modules being sold in Northern California. They were predominantly going into Redway and Sebastopol and Willits, and so we said, we ought to make a trip up there and see what's going on.
I convinced him to sell me 10 of them, which I put on my house, and neighbors wanted them. So I had to come back to him and say, I need 100 of these. And then we called him back and said, okay, we need 500 of them. And then we said, we need 1,000 of them. And I think when we ordered 1,000, we sent him the money and he disappeared.
My first thoughts in arriving in Humboldt was, you've got to be kidding. It was interesting, it was intriguing, and it was almost unbelievable that there was truly a business to be built here.
A large group of the baby boomers, which was a huge population bubble, became very aware of the fact that the evolution of human civilization was on a collision course with disaster.
They were easy to sell from the day we got them.
I was lucky to be in a place where there was a 40-acre suburbia with thousands of people living on 40 acres that couldn't get utility power, and they were growing marijuana, so they had cash to buy things.
It was a perfect combination to be able to sell a high-priced power.
Thank God for the marijuana business. I mean, that's what made solar happen.
Yeah, it's obvious. It's obvious that the marijuana industry in Northern California helped spur the PV industry.
We realized that they were for off-grid homes, and more importantly, it was people who were growing crops.
These executives from Arco Solar down in LA flew up. These 4 guys in suits walk into this funky country store in Willits, saying, "We're here because we want to know why you're selling all of our photovoltaics." It's almost like accusatory, you know. Hey.
Next thing you know, a semi-truck shows up at our place. We got a place that's about maybe 16 feet square, maybe. And I've got a semi-truck sitting out there full of modules. No credit app. Nothing, no PO. This was thousands and thousands of dollars worth of modules.
Taking our model from the supermarket advertisers, where they give it to you, it's free, and it has maybe some informational content and a shitload of ads.
Revolutionary, definitely. Evolutionary and revolutionary.
You know, like you screen print a image on a t-shirt. You're going to use that technology to make a solar cell? Yes.
This is the SEI Lab Yard out here in Paonia, Colorado. This is the envy of community colleges all around the country and around the world.
You can't go down any street in Hawaii and not see a solar of some kind on a roof. So we've been very, very
successful.
He gave me back this draft proposal, all marked up in red. Those red markings were more, sooner, faster, more. And so literally, I was a kid in a candy store, and we implemented the PV Pioneer program.
We sold things that helped our planet, that helped people. People saved money. Everybody got a good deal out of it.
I've always told people PV is magic. You put this rock out in the sun and it makes electricity.
No, PV is not magic. PV is science. It's totally hardcore quantum mechanics.
I would have to agree with Steve, but, you know, it's kind of like magic.